Morning children, how are you all? I hope all of you are fine and safe inside your homes. Now today we are going to continue with the last part of the chapter, that is second chapter under geography, land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. We have already studied land, soil and water, and so the last topic is natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So let us start with that. Now natural vegetation and wildlife resources, they can exist in biosphere. So first let us find out what is biosphere. The narrow zone of contact between lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere is called biosphere, which means biosphere is the combination of plant and animal kingdom. The combination of plant and animal kingdom is called biosphere. Now in biosphere we have plants and animals also. So in this all the plants, animals and again we the human beings are also interrelated and are interdependent on each other for our food and survival. So when all the three, that is plants, animals and human beings, we are all interrelated and interdependent on each other, we form a life supporting system which is known as ecosystem. So this life supporting system is known as ecosystem, where all the three of us are dependent, that is we are interrelated and interdependent on each other for our survival. So that was about natural vegetation. Now in the second part we have importance of plants. Why? Because plants come under the topic of natural vegetation. Now I need not stretch this topic more because you already know the importance of plants, that is it gives us fruits, medicines, it also provides shelter to plants, it also provides shelter to animals and human beings, it gives us with timber, wood, all of it. So plants are giving us so many number of things and we already know the importance of plants in our lives. So this was about the topic of natural vegetation, where we have in all studied about biosphere, which happens to be combination of plant and animal kingdom, and about the importance of plants. Now we will study about wildlife resources. So what do you mean by wildlife resources? Wildlife resources include birds, animals, insects and all the forms of aquatic life also, that is all the creatures of aquatic life like fishes and all of it. So what are wildlife resources? They include all the animals, insects, birds and the aquatic life forms. They also provide us with milk, meat, wool, that is ship is giving wool, and they also act as decomposers in the ecosystem. So wildlife resources are equally important. Now we know that natural vegetation and wildlife resources, they become the part of renewable resource, but still it becomes very much important for us to use them judicially, to use them wisely, and if they are not being utilized in a proper manner, it can lead to the loss of lives. So in all, natural vegetation and wildlife resources, they both have a deep connection, and so preservation of both natural vegetation and wildlife resources can be done simultaneously. So this was about natural vegetation, where we have studied the importance of plants, what is biosphere, and under wildlife resources all the animals, aquatic life forms and all of it. Now we will study the distribution of natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So the growth of vegetation depends upon the temperature and the moisture over there. I repeated, the growth of vegetation depends upon the temperature and the moisture. So mostly in the world we have forests, grassland, shrubs, scrubs and tundra. These are the four vegetation that we have overall in the world. What are forests? All of you know. Forests are the areas where heavy rainfall is received. They provide us with abundant water supply, where there are huge trees and heavy rainfall is possible over there. So forests are again very much important for us. Next we have is grasslands. Grasslands where the grasses, that is it is having category and where grasses grow in the areas of, that is, moderate rainfall, where grasses grow in the moderate rainfall, and shrubs and scrubs where they grow in the dry regions where there is very low rainfall. Shrubs and scrubs where they grow in the areas, that is in the dry areas where there is very low rainfall. So this was about forests, grasslands, shrubs and scrubs. Now you can better understand it when you see the picture. So this is forests, shrubs and scrubs, that is small plants, and grasslands. Now the next which we have is evergreen forest and deciduous forest. We will have a comparison between evergreen forest and deciduous forest. Now these two types of forests are differing on the basis of when they shed their leaves. Now say for example evergreen forest, they do not shed their leaves in any particular season. Evergreen forests do not shed their leaves, that is evergreen trees, they do not shed their leaves in any particular season simultaneously in any part of the year. Whereas on the other hand, if we take the example of deciduous trees or forests, they shed their leaves in a particular season to retain the loss of water, that is they can ensure that there is very minimal loss of water through the process of transpiration. So this was the difference, but we can understand it better with the help of a picture. So in the picture you can see that pine tree is there, which is always having the same leaves, that is it has not shed its leaves in any particular season in any part of the year. Whereas on the other hand we have oak tree, which happens to fall under the deciduous category, where in autumn season it sheds off its leaves. So this is how in evergreen there is no particular season, but in deciduous we have a particular season, that is in autumn if it is shedding its leaves. So this is how we categorize it. Pine tree, which is always evergreen, pine tree evergreen, whereas oak tree, which we have under deciduous category, will shed off its leaves in autumn season. So this was the comparison of evergreen versus deciduous, where the particular season in which it is shedding their leaves becomes the most important part. Now in India, evergreen and deciduous both are equally important as they give timber and more forest produce. So this was about distribution of natural vegetation. So now we will study the last part, that is conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife resources. Say, now forests are our wealth. I repeat, forests are our wealth. Plants are providing shelter to animals, and they are all interrelated and interconnected on each other, and they form a life supporting system called ecosystem. So plants are doing their job, and so we should do ours. That is, we should also think to conserve our natural vegetation. So for that we should always follow or take simpler steps and try our best to conserve the natural vegetation, whether it be land, soil, water or anything. We should try our best to conserve the natural vegetation. Now because of the human interferences or the change in climate, there is a loss of natural habitat. Like say for example poaching. What do you mean by poaching? Killing or hunting of animals is being done in order to have the needs of the humans satisfied. That is, for the personal greed, people are killing animals, that is, they are poaching for their trading purposes. Like the animals are being killed for their teeth, nail, their horns, their skin. Various products are made out of these animals parts, and they are being sold. So this is how people are doing an illegal activity. Now the government has given this as, meaning the government has considered this type of activity under illegal activities. So poaching is now illegal in India. But this is how things are going on, things are done in our country. So we should always think of saving the animals, protecting the animals, because if today we protect our environment, environment will protect us. There are several birds and animals which are extinct today. They are no more found, or they are on the verge of the extinction. So this problem doesn't, if to make a solution, to find a solution for this problem, government has made various biosphere reserves, that is wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves, so that these species are safe over there. So likewise we should also think of conserving our resources. We can have awareness programs like social forestry, say Van Mahotsav, where we all can impart knowledge related to the society which has Van Mahotsav, that is social forestry, where we can clearly communicate that today if we save trees, tomorrow trees will save us. So as a responsible citizen, it is our ethical duty to conserve all these resources. So that was all for today. I hope you are clear and you have very much understood with this topic, natural that is natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So we will quickly have a recap of what we have studied today. So we have studied what is natural vegetation and wildlife resources, distribution of natural vegetation and wildlife resources, and also the conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife resources. Now we will quickly have a chapter recap, that is the recap of the whole chapter, what all things we have covered. So the first was land, where we have covered land use. Second was soil, where we have soil formation and factors of soil formation, soil profile. Third we had is water availability and water conservation methods, and last we had natural vegetation and wildlife, which we studied today. So I hope in all you have clearly understood this chapter and you have got no doubts in this chapter, as it is very simple and easy to understand these concepts. Thank you and have a nice day.